Let's get started. I don't know who that is. They're calling my office line, so I'll talk to them later. Okay. All right, let's get started. Okay. Today is Monday, March 31st. On Wednesday, April 2nd, we celebrate. We have our second exam. Okay. So today is exam review. Okay. Now, I am well aware that you all are still working on assignment 10. I don't have a problem with that because I believe that either assignment 10 or our practice exercise today are both adequate preparation for the exam. Like if you can do either this assignment or the practice exercise, you can certainly do the exam. The practice exercise is a little bit more representative of what you actually will get on the exam, but they're both going to review the relevant skill sets. Okay? So a couple housekeeping items. One, I'll admit I'm a little behind on getting the attendance up to date. I didn't post the attendance grades from last week, and so I'll probably just do it all at once here, maybe near the end of this week. I've got some advising appointments back to back to back, over the next week. So just it's advising season, and I get a little busy when it's advising season, as I imagine most of your advisors are in the same boat I am. Okay. All the outstanding homework is graded though, other than homework 10, which you're working on now. As of this morning, we had a pretty low submission rate, which I'm not all that surprised about, because I told you, I said this homework is a little bit more challenging than the rest. So I sort of expected people to still be working on it, and that's totally fine. Okay? We do not have any homework assignments this week though. Like you're going to have your exam, we're going to come back next week. But I will say one thing, that for those of you using Windows, if you can have Inventor installed by Monday, that would be great. For those of you using Mac, it's either partitioning your drives or Cameo. There is no AutoCAD. It's not like AutoCAD where there's a Mac alternative. It doesn't work that way for Inventor. Inventor, it's either Cameo or a partition. So you're gonna, so there's that. Okay. Let's go through the review for the second exam. By the way, I've got handouts up here for the in-class exercise today. If you have not grabbed it, don't be shy. Come on up here and grab one. But with that, I'm going to jump into the exam review. I'm going to be quick on this because I want to give you time to work on what you're working on. Either the week 10 homework or the practice exam today. I'm fine with either. Okay. Let me go through a couple things. So first off, let's talk about logistics. The exam is going to be operated in pretty much the exact same fashion as the last one. Okay. I am going to go to 12:55. I am aware that there's a contingent of you that have a celebration in the lovely world of physics on Wednesday. And so you're having your physics exam and then you're coming over here and having another one. So it's just back-to-back celebrations. I don't think this exam is a time crunch though. So I think even for those of you that have a physics exam, it shouldn't be that bad. But I will say a couple things. Number one, please don't forget your laptop. Please don't forget your mouse. And also, don't forget your scale. You are going to need it, okay? So bring that, okay? I will say this. You do need the scale, but I will go ahead and say that you're not going to have any distances on the exam that you need to scale that are 48.26 units long. Like if you have your scale, they're going to be relatively easy distances to measure. I want you to understand how to use the scale, but I don't want you to be looking at it for more time than is necessary. Okay? It's open book, or there's no book in the class, but it's open notes. You can bring any of the class handouts that you want. You can also bring a quote-unquote formula sheet that lists any of the available commands that are necessary. I'm fine with that too. Okay. As for the commands for exam 2, so one of the things I said in the 11 o'clock section is I said I'm not really a big fan of comprehensive exams. So like for example, if you have a class with 4 tests, so exam 2 covers everything from exam 2 and exam 1, and then by the time you're taking exam 4, you're taking a test again on everything in the whole class. I'm not really the biggest fan of that. However, some classes that's unavoidable, and I'd say the one class where that's really unavoidable is this one. Because in exam 1, we learned how to draw lines and circles and arcs and hatches and all that stuff. And you got to do that on this exam too. I can't really avoid that. but the exam is intended to focus on the stuff we've talked about since exam 1. More like utilizing AutoCAD to address some more bigger picture real world challenges. As for the command list is largely the same from exam 1 versus exam 2 with some additions, okay? A couple things. So the drawing setup commands are all the same. The object creation and editing commands are all the same. These are new from exam 1 to exam 2. So the dimensioning commands like dim style and dim linear and all that. The other thing is plotting. You are going to need to plot to a PDF. I did not have this listed in my original set of notes. I've since updated the notes on Blackboard where I included the plot command for plotting and drawing, because you are going to have to plot PDF. Okay? All right, so you're on the other things like properties, panning, including precision in your drawings. I'm guessing that by now, if you remember when I was discussed the hashtag versus the @ symbol, early on in the semester I said the @ symbol had more utility than the hashtag. Maybe at this point in the semester you probably get what I mean. I imagine that if I told you to draw a vertical line at some random point, you probably use the @ symbol more than you would the hashtag, and I think by now you probably get what I'm talking about. I'm going to go through this stuff real fast. I know that you all know how to use the mouse and all the various commands, and I know that there's a couple of you that still prefer to use the trackpad over the mouse, and hey, more power to you. That's just not me. But if that's you, hey, knock it out. But I do highly suggest using a mouse and bringing a mouse with you. I know you all know how to select objects and all that, so I'll go through that part really briefly. The scale. Okay, let's talk about this scale because I've been fielding a lot of questions about utilizing the scale and utilizing the engineering drawing. So I really want to go back to what we did with the football field. Okay, so a couple things about the football field. Let's go back to how that drawing was structured. Okay, so if you remember, we had a football field drawn that was 360 units long and 160 units wide, right? Because the idea is that that's actually a football field. And then also in that AutoCAD space was this really tiny sheet of paper, okay? The idea, so there's two ways of making it work, I guess you could say. One way, which is what we did, was to take the paper and blow it up to a scale of 40, right? But theoretically, I guess there's another option. We could have taken the football field and squunched it down by a scale of 40, okay? So either one would have produced the same aesthetic drawing, I guess, but which one's correct? Do we blow up the paper or do we decrease the scale of the object? And the answer is we blow up the paper, okay? At the end of the day, what we are trying to represent in the AutoCAD space is truth, okay? And the truth is that football field is 360 feet long. The paper needs to bend to the will of the object, not the other way around. Okay, so some of you are probably thinking, well, if I have an object that's 30 units long and I draw that on an 11 by 17, it's going to be too big. You're right, it is too big. That's why you take the paper and you blow it up. You don't squunch the object down. Okay, so that's just a thing I wanted to get across right from square one. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, now, all right, so let's talk a little bit about scales and then how to use them. So first off, the common scales in drawings are going to be base multiples of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And by base multiples, I mean either tacking a 0 or moving the decimal place. And the reason why we use those is because if you break out your engineering scale, the 6-sided scale, those are the ones that are going to be present. Okay? Anything bigger than a 60 scale, you couldn't read the lines. And anything smaller than a 10 scale probably wouldn't have the resolution needed for an engineering drawing, and if it was smaller than 10, it'd probably be something like 5, and you have a 50 scale for that, so you wouldn't really be needed, right? So that's why 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 are sort of the natural picks for that. So we are not going to produce any drawings on a 1 inch equals 15 foot scale, or 1 inch equals 70 meters scale. That's not going to happen, okay? So, all right, okay. So here's the thing about using the scale, and I've been seeing this a lot on some of the week 10 assignments, and I want to make sure that we're crystal clear, okay? So if you're looking at, let's say, the 20 scale, okay, would somebody let me borrow their scale? Anybody? Thank you. I'm going to borrow yours. Okay. So this is, let's see, I'm on the 20 scale right here, okay? And so if you look at the 20 scale, you'll see like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. Let's say between 0 and 1. How many ticks are there between 0 and 1? 10, right? You can literally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on the 20 scale, each tick corresponds to a unit in question. So if the drawing is 1 inch equals 20 meters, each tick is 1 meter, right? So the only thing you have to do is line up your scale and read the number of ticks, and that's it. So a lot of you are saying, oh, that's 30 ticks, so that's 1.5 inches. It's because you're doing this calculation where you're dividing by 20. No, just 30, right? You just read it. That's all you do, okay? The only math that you would do, the only math that you would do is if it was 1 inch equals 200 or 1 inch equals 2,000, and you would just add a 0, tack a couple of zeros on the end of it. So if you're reading a measurement and then dividing by 20 or multiplying by 20, you're doing something wrong, okay? You just read the number of ticks, okay? The idea is that then you would represent that object in AutoCAD space and then blow up the paper as needed to fit that object inside the bounds of the paper. That's it, okay? Is everybody clear on that? And I'll go around and make sure everybody's clear on it, but I just wanted to really kind of make that point clear. Okay, my tips for the exam, please do not forget your laptop. Please do not forget your laptop charger. Please do not forget your mouse. And I guess I should add a bullet here that says, please do not forget your scale. Okay, you will need your scale, you will need your laptop, you will need your mouse, you will need your laptop charger. Okay, please don't forget those. Okay, I can't do anything about that if you don't forget it. Please save during the exam. Click that save button 100 times, okay? It does not cost anything to save over and over again, but it will cost you plenty if you forget to save, okay? So please save. And save one last time before you upload. Like save and then go to the Blackboard upload process, okay? Yes? So what?
Just need help with the homework whenever you're...
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I am going to go through the rest of the tips very briefly, but I do suggest that you read the command line. If you ever have any questions about how to execute a given command, AutoCAD's telling you how to do it. A lot of times when I had questions about, well, how do I do the fillet radius, or how do I do this, or how do I do that, my answer is always read the command line, and it ends up 99 times out of 100 answering your question. So if it's during an exam, I'm suggesting that you do that so that you can negotiate the exam faster. I want you to do well. I don't want you to get tripped up. Make sure that you can turn grid snap on and off. Make sure you can turn object snap on and off. Okay? If the escape key is your friend, editing commands are your best friends. So make sure that you're proficient in copy, offset, trim, extend, move, rotate, fillet champers, all that jazz. You can make a formula sheet, by the way, for the exam. Okay, I'm going to stop. So just so everybody's aware, I'm going to spend the rest of lecture walking around, making sure everybody's good on either the homework or the in-class exercise for the exam. But before I do, are there any big picture questions about the exam, about anything to expect? I'll say that practice exercise is very reflective of what's on the exam. It's just shorter. The exam itself will be a little bit longer. Everybody good? All right, I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to walk around. So.